Hi Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your March 1st to the 15th, 2021 reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and also to subscribe to my channel. And if you would like to be notified whenever I upload new videos, and I upload all the time, just hit the bell notification button. And if you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before I begin this reading or clear the energy space, once again, a reminder not to be scammed by anybody in the comment box pretending to be me offering you a reading. That person is not me. They are a scammer. I will not be soliciting you for anything, so don't be scammed. Okay, with that said, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from your body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as you enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowls sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Capricorn, March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Capricorn. March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Capricorn. March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Capricorn. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels. Ooh, fantastic. Angels. Ooh, okay. Now let's look at your chakra energy. Capricorn, March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Capricorn. March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Capricorn. March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Capricorn. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels. And spirit guides, angels. Okay, just these two, saying focus just on these. So we start here with clarity, the third eye chakra. And it brings us to grounding. This is the Earth Star chakra located 6 inches below your feet. Now the left-hand side is your inner self. The middle is your heart, your emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena and the public self. So let's see what they have to say. 5 of Wands, 10 of Swords, 9 of Wands, 6 of Swords. That's intense. Okay. Queen of Wands, fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius coming through. Queen of Swords, air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. King of Wands, so that's beautiful. You have the King and the Queen of Wands. Whenever I have the King and the Queen of the same suit from the same deck in a reading, this is a soulmate connection, true love connection. There is something very passionate and powerful happening in your heart. And this has to do with career, with the reason you get out of bed in the morning, with what it is that lights the fire within your life. And then we have the Three of Cups. Very interesting. The Sun card, which is always brilliant to see. This is crowning your public arena. The Six of Cups. The Ace of Swords, which is a gift you're absolutely taking, and the Four of Swords. So let's look at the energy you need to be mindful of during this time. What is the energy that Capricorn needs to be mindful of? March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Capricorn. What is the energy that Capricorn needs to be mindful of? March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Capricorn. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. Ooh, okay, these two just come right out. So we're starting here with the King of Swords. Once again, air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. But, oh, you have three. This doesn't have to be relegated to an air sign energy. This is an energy that is rather combative. You think my way or it's the highway. Very much challenges you all the time, says prove it with facts, prove it with, show me the proof, is what this energy is going to be saying to you during this time and what you're going to be contending with. So that's going to be something that's difficult for you, because there is such a sense of growth and development. There is such a sense of gut feels and clarity of insight that show me the proof. I only want the facts. Write it down. Let me see it. Make it as clear as possible. You can make it clear. That's not the problem that you will be having. It is that taking the creativity out of it. And it is the taking the instinct out of it. That's going to be something that challenges you during this time. With the Queen of Wands, you have a very blessed Queen of Wands here. And here you have a manipulative Queen of Wands. This is a person who uses your passion, uses what you desire, uses your ideas and your ideals against you. This is a person who kind of likes to light little fires and see how they burn. See what happens if she plants this seed. It doesn't have to be a she. If this person plants this seed or that seed, or if you start looking at things differently, or if they corrode your self-worth, what will happen? How will it burn? What will be going on here? And it moves us then to the Lord, and the Lord is Aries energy. Of course, the Queen of Wands, fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, very strong link here within Aries, but this is just a combative person. It doesn't mean that it has to be an Aries. March 21st to the 19th to 21st, March 21st to April 19th, there we go, is the time frame. This doesn't have to be this is going to be a person who is combative, who argues, who likes to argue, who kind of gets a kick out of getting things their way and hitting the hornet's nest and seeing what happens. And again, it doesn't have to be an Aries, but this is a person who is going to be very kind of militant about things. They need things to go exactly the way that they want them. If not, they throw a hissy fit. You can run into, a bit of trouble with them, and you're looking at it and you're like, what the heck is going on here? I thought we were adults. Obviously, no. And it moves us then to the chakra energy, which I was just about to skip, which is clarity and grounding, the third eye chakra and the earth star chakra. The clarity that comes in, especially over your heart during this time, has to do with a lot of the corruption that you have been dealing with, a lot of the heartbreaks, the pains, the disappointment, thinking, if I work hard, excuse me, if I work hard, if I put the time and the effort into it, things will happen the way that they're supposed to happen. And the clarity that's coming is, I cannot put my faith in others. And I know that sounds cynical and harsh, but there needs to be that beautiful, solid connection, Capricorn, with you and the divine, with you and your angels and your spirit guides, and the greater view of what you have and what you want and where you're headed in your life. And this opening up of the third eye makes it so that you're looking at things more openly and more honestly for yourself. You're saying, how is it that I move forward? Where is it that I'm moving to? What is it that I desire? And you start really looking at your passion and your knowledge and saying, this is at the heart of me. This is what I desire most. And you're going to come up against the warrior king, but you have the warrior queen at your heart. You have this person, you have this energy of like, you know what? I can fight fire with fire. And that's kind of what you're going to be doing at this time. You can fight people's negativity with your own passion, with your own, kind of insights and ideas and desires. And that really starts to open things up for you in a way that you hadn't anticipated. And it brings you to grounding. What are your roots? What do you desire? How is it that you're moving forward? The Earth Star Chakra, I always think of it as that little light of connection when we walk upon the ground. It's that connecting to the earth. It's that connecting to what we desire. It's that connecting to what nurtures us the most. And this is the grounding of our hopes and our dreams and the way that we want to move forward, and who it is that we are and where it is that we want to be. And as we dig deep, as our roots go deep, we start to see the quality of the soil around us. And think of us as ants, from Lord of the Rings. You can get up and you can walk if there's better soil somewhere else. So if you're thinking of your roots, you're thinking about how you're growing, you're thinking about what you're connecting to, you're going to really kind of sit in that power and say, the soil isn't for me. The energy of the people around me isn't for me. My own energy might be corrupting things. So we look at it and say, okay, I see this. And it can be, we change our minds, we change our whole entire lives. We start to embrace a greater power. We start to surround ourselves with better people, better situations. And that's what really enhances the soil of our lives, the passion that we desire, the power of our truth. And it leads us here to facing the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands is that internal chaos. And it can also be the external chaos that is coming in and really making you question things about yourself. How do I want to move forward? Do I want to deal with this person every day? Is this something that I can handle? Is this something that I want? The Five of Wands is putting the tests before us, is having us look at things more openly, more honestly for ourselves. But it's also having us look at the chaos that's just inevitably a part of our lives. This is the chaos of, I don't know if I can move forward. This is the chaos of people coming against us. This is the chaos that's implanted in our hearts, that self-doubt, that deprivation, there we go, and that denial of our truth. And so with the Five of Wands, we're seeing what once was unseeable. And we're really looking at the power and the brilliance of how we can move forward in harmony with ourselves and not in conflict. So the conflict comes forward, and your first thought is going to be, no. Well, actually, your first thought is going to be, I'm going to fight. And then the second thought is going to be, no. I don't want to waste my energy on things that will not matter in the long run. And so often, that's what we do. We waste our energy on things that will not matter in the long run, that become completely overwhelming, all-consuming to us. And then it's then the next thing that becomes so traumatic, so overwhelming. And we go from crises to crises, it seems like our whole entire lives. And that's what the Five of Wands does. But when we look at the Five of Wands and we say, no, I move forward in the passion that I want. I move forward in the power of my truth. I'm looking at the bigger picture of where I stand. We start to then embrace our nightmares, which not only are nightmares, but the death of the old self and the rebirth of the new, which very much does connect us with the Nine of Swords. And then we go to the Ten of Swords, of course, which is the sense of chaos and betrayal, and how do I move forward, and where is it that I want to be, and what is it that I'm going after. And so with the Ten of Swords, there is an essence here of how do I look at the greater truth of what I want. This is the dying away of the old self. This is saying, I'm not the same person I was. This is the embrace of the new self. This is the embrace of what we desire in life and how we move forward and where it is that we need to be and what it is that we want. These are the lessons over 10 years. And it can be, if you've had a really intense time, it can be 10 days. It can definitely be 10 months when you're looking at it, or 10 weeks, whatever the 10 means to you. And it's that sense of, I've had these stabbed in my back this whole entire time. I've been overwhelmed. I've been silenced. I've been denied. And now I start to step into my truth. Now I start to rise with all this knowledge, with all this wealth, with all this power as a part of me. And it changes the game. It really does. Because this is a resurrection of self after the darkness, after the hurts and the pains and the disappointments. It's like fighting a war. When you come out of war, you're not the same person. And that's what you're going to see here. You're not the same person that you were before. And that isn't necessarily a bad thing. We tend to think that it is, because we tend to think, oh, I should always say the same. But when we embrace the fact that life is about developing and growing and shedding skins and seeing things differently and embracing new ideas and new ideals, then it's opening up to our truth, to where we need to be, to what we want within our existence. And this is that resurrection of self and power. This is that rebirth of what we desire. And it brings us to the Nine of Wands. It brings us to a long and hard road, one. It brings us to looking at things quite differently than we have looked at things before. Also, the world comes at us. Everybody's telling us what to think, how to talk, what to say, everything like that. And we're looking at it and saying, but this is me. This is who I am. And if you come from a place of kindness, compassion, love, and truth, why shouldn't it be? You're not being exclusive. You're being inclusive, but also true to your soul. And why shouldn't that be powerful? The Knight of Wands is saying, yes, the world has come at me. As the world comes after every single person. And it comes after us hard and overwhelmingly. But also, as we stand in our truth, as we put up the wall, as we state no more, there's an honesty to it. There's a power to it. And even though you might feel completely overburdened and overwhelmed and overworked and, just like, when will this end? There's a power to you that has been forged in fire and gained through soul. And it brings you to the Six of Wands. And Six of Swords. And what I love here is that you're all wands and swords. You're very much wands and swords with a spattering of cups, just 2 cups within this reading. Even your major arcana card is the Sun, which has to do with fire. So it's all about the mind and your passion during this time. And that's even what you're coming up against with the opposition here. It's the mind and the passion that gets attacked, because there is a shift, there is a change, there is a way that you're looking at things, and there's an embrace of truth and power and might, understanding, clarity that comes forward. And the Six of Swords in your inner self. It's like, as you're facing all of this, and you're facing, a lot of things that you would rather not face. You're facing things where you would rather sit there and say, you know what? No thanks. No thanks. I'd like to walk away. I'd like to just be left alone. But what divinity is doing here at this time is it's testing you. And you might say, stop testing me. I'm done. I've had enough, which I completely understand and agree with. But what we're seeing here is that we are looking at things in a completely different way. We're going to be taking what once pained us, what once overwhelmed us, what once denied us. Excuse me. And we're going to be looking at the way that we need to move forward. It's kind of like looking back at things and seeing where we were passive, where we would stand more in our truth and in our ferocity of spirit, and not be that passive person anymore. It's not necessarily being aggressive in a bad way, but knowing that I have strength and I have power and I am truth. And just saying that to yourself, I am strength, I am power, I am truth, becomes a very life-changing way to move forward. And it brings us here to the Six of Swords. It brings us to gathering up our information, gathering up our knowledge, and moving forward. It's like, I'm not staying where it isn't right for me. And I've taken what I've learned, and now I'm moving forward to where I need to be. The Six of Swords is, yes, we're going to face bumpy waters. Yes, things can be completely overwhelming. Yes, it might not even be our choice to move forward. There is something here where you're being kicked out of your comfort zone and you're being resurrected into new power. And you're looking at it and you're like, this is my truth. This is what I need. And it brings you to a place of making a decision, opening up your eyes, and it brings you to the Queen of Wands, passion, fire, determination, insights, ideas. It brings you to this place of looking at what's so absolutely important to you and saying, this is what I live by. So often, and I know this has happened to me on multiple occasions, we forget the reason why we get out of bed in the morning. There are responsibilities, yes. But life needs to be just a little bit more than responsibilities. It's good for the darker moments. It's good for the times where you kind of need that little kick and tush, right? But life needs to have this joy to it, this beauty to it. And it doesn't mean that it's going to be a roller coaster ride of fun every single moment. But what it does mean is that it has a rhythm of calmness, of serenity, of power, of insight. And the Queen of Wands is saying embrace that. Embrace that fire. Feed that spark. Look at your truth. And walk forward in it. The Queen of Wands makes me think of Hestia, the goddess of the hearth. And in ancient Rome and ancient Greece, Hestia was a lesser goddess who was once one of the main Olympians. But after the Olympians finished with the Titans, right, they then went and decided that they were going to start fighting each other because there were too many main gods. There needed to be an equal amount of men and of women, and there wasn't. And so what happened is they were going to have another war to sort this out so that everybody could have power, right? Everybody who deserved it. And Hestia looked at them and was tired of the fighting. And she said, no, don't bother. I will step down. I will step down and I will tend my flame as I have always done because it is the most important thing to me. And why I think this story is so relevant to our world is that we all want to be number one, right? We all want to be the very, very best. But if we step out of saying, look at me, if our world steps out of that desire to be famous, right? Or infamous, whatever people tend to be going for these days, and steps into, this is what I'm going to foster. This is the light that I'm going to grow. This is the truth of me. And I let it shine. That becomes extraordinary. And the Queen of Wands is showing us that Hestia was worshipped in every single house in 2 empires. In a way, in an intimate, powerful way that the other gods just weren't. She became the cornerstone of everything because without fire, they couldn't cook their food, they couldn't warm their homes, they couldn't, do so much, they couldn't boil their water. It was important. So the light within us during this time that shines forward, it is important, even though others might poo-poo it, might think, no, it's not. And as that light shines forward, it's funny because the air feeds it. The fire then goes into the air. The air feeds it, just like in the challenges you will be facing. The air feeds the fire. It's like they play off each other. And I wouldn't be surprised if these were 2 people or one person with just this really kind of interesting way of seeing things that aligns with all the lessons that you have to learn during this time, which isn't fun, but does make for a very kind of rebirthing, empowering place to be during this time because you move forward and you conquer demons that you might not even have known you had. And it brings us to the Queen of Swords. And the Queen of Swords is passion and insight and cutting through doubts and fears and saying, this is where I stand. She's the warrior queen. And if you look here, she's a banshee, right? You have all the faces below her. And I wasn't too keen on the Queen of Swords when I first looked at her. And now I think, excuse me, she's that powerful voice being called forward. She is that truth and that knowledge. When I was little, I used to love to think that life didn't end. We all just, when we passed, we rode the wind. And we got to see people. We got to see lives begin and end, and people laugh and fall in love and cry and despair, and we got to see it all. We got to see the most inhospitable parts of the world and the most, luscious and green. And I thought that was quite beautiful. And when I look at the Queen of Swords, I see that power with her, that sense of beauty, that sense of the air sees all, rides all, is part of all. It is needed by every living being in one form or another. And so here, as we move forward, we see things in a truth that has been fought for, that has forged us, that has given us insights. And it becomes a weapon, because the sword is the only weapon within the minor arcana, or within the tarot pretty much. It is the weapon of nobility. It is the weapon that takes time and skill to learn. All right? It shows power and worth. And that's what you're embracing here. You're honing your skills. You're looking at the greater desire of what it is that you have. You're looking at this passion, this purpose forward. And you're not going to be anybody's fool during this time. So your hearted self, okay, your emotional self is able to match that which comes against you. Okay? You have this insight. And even if it doesn't feel like you're able to match it right now, you definitely learn from it. And you might find that confrontations that you had before start coming up. In your head, you start kind of running into things that you thought, I was done with this. Like, what the heck is this? And you're standing more firmly in your power, in your truth. You see things more clearly, or at least more favorably towards you. And it brings you to the King of Wands. Now, once again, the King of Wands, the Queen of Wands, soulmate connection, true love connection, passion and purpose. This is finding your fire. This is embracing that spark. And I know for some, it's like, I never lost that fire. And that is awesome. If you never lose your fire, then you are so amazingly blessed. But sometimes I lose my fire. And I know so often we lose our fire. We lose our momentum. We look at things and we become overwhelmed. We become buried in so much, in other people's passions, in other people's wanting to do things, in the fire of the world, like this is how it should be done. And we lose our own spark. And here it's reclaiming it. The King and the Queen of Wands, they're not afraid to roll up their sleeves. They're not afraid to go after what it is that they want. There's power to them. There's truth to them. There's transformation to the King of Fire. A transformation of ideas and ideals and what it is that you desire and where it is that you want to be. And it brings you to the Three of Cups. It brings you to the heartbreaks and the pains and the disappointments as you rule your life so awesomely during this time. And the Three of Cups is, for me, the Three of Cups is always the people who are supposed to raise their glass to us, or who raise their glass to us, and still disappointed, still let us down, still brought on despair into our lives. They're the people who are supposed to be there. Our parents, our guardians, the people who raised us. They were the teacher that was supposed to protect us. They were the friend that was supposed to be by our side but couldn't. The lover who couldn't love us. And when you have these people raise their glass and say, I'm standing with you, and then stand against you, that is hard. It is a betrayal that is hard to understand, hard to come to terms with. And the lesson of the Three of Cups might sound cynical, but it is to stand in your own power, to stand in your own truth. And yes, we all rely on others, but to know that if it was just you, you have that beauty within yourself to be able to do it, to be able to embrace your truth, your passion, and how you're moving forward. It leads you to the sun because you've experienced heartbreak and pain. And in the public arena, this is glory and truth. Why? Because you have these beautiful kings and queens, well, king and queens at your heart. You have this beautiful power to you. And the sun rises. In the public arena, people see your blessings. They want to take you by eyes. They definitely do. You know, people speaking negativity over you, jinxing you in a laughing way. You know, these are things to be mindful of. The sun is the happiest card in the whole entire deck. Now, do people like to see other people happy? No, not really. It makes them jealous. But if we embrace our happiness, if we say, this is me, this is what I want and desire and need and thrive on in my world, it becomes a whole new playing field. It opens up so many things we could never have thought of. Let your sun shine. Let your beauty be. Embrace the glory that is you and celebrate it like the sunbird does. The sunbird calls in the day. Call in your glory, your passion, your power. It moves you to the Six of Cups. It moves you to nostalgia. Now, there can be doubts of, maybe I don't get to have glory, things were hard, I made so many mistakes, how do I move forward from here? But it also gets to be, I look at the past, and I don't let it rule my present. The past, it can't be changed, but to live in it is to live in pain. No matter how good the past was, it is not the present. And if you embrace your present, and you stand in your present, that becomes extraordinary. It brings you then to the Ace of Swords, to God's source spirit, however you see the divine, the universe, handing you a gift of ideas, handing you a gift of power, of voice, and of breath. I have linked in the description box below the, Wim Hof breathing technique. And I do that, I've just started doing that before readings, and it's so powerful. So here, embracing that power, embracing that breath, embracing that truth. That's what the Ace of Swords is all about. It's about the knowledge coming in and the mind being primed to be able to use it. And we have here with the nostalgia coming forward, with the sense of being pulled by the past. Okay, you can have the past denying you the bounty of the present. And that is going to be something like somebody might say something that makes you think of the past, that, triggers past hurts, past doubts. It's like, oh my gosh, how do I move on from there? And the Six of Cups is looking at that hurt, looking at that pain. And there's going to be a sense here of really addressing things that have held you back for too long, Capricorn. And with the Ace of Swords, you cut through so much nonsense to embrace your truth. And it brings you to the Four of Swords. It brings you to a place of being able to honor everything that you've gone through. Every human life has suffering and pain and doubt and hurt in it. But so often we don't honor that. It's like stiff upper lip, keep going. We either don't honor it, we kind of put it in a box, we shove it away, or we live in it. And it becomes the hurt that defines our whole entire lives. And that's what you're having enough of here. It's like, no, I embrace my truth and my passion. I embrace everything that I have been through, and I honor me in a profound and insightful way. I honor me so that I can move forward and embrace my glory. We have to honor our history. We can't deny it. We can't erase it. We can't, hate it. What has made us who we are is absolutely intrinsically valuable to us. To embrace it, to move forward in it, is extraordinary. And that brings true power into life. Now let's go deeper. Capricorn, March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Capricorn. March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Capricorn. March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Capricorn. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Oh, fantastic. Okay. We have the Seven of Coins, the Eight of Coins, the Queen of Coins. I love it. Now it's all about prosperity and patience and hard work paying off. I like that. The Chariot, which is Cancer energy, June 21st to July 22nd is the time frame. The Hermit is Virgo energy, August 23rd to September 22nd is the time frame. the Seven of Wands. Now, with the repeat of the number 7, be very mindful about the truth of things, okay? If you tell a little white lie, if you make a little fib, it will be called out. You'll be like, oh, what the heck? And it can frustrate you because somebody next to you can be doing something and can be completely dishonest about it, and nobody will bat an eye. But if you do, it kind of almost feels like during this time, it's like you step a little bit out of the line, people absolutely notice it. It doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. You can kind of really sit there in your truth and say, this is what I want, this is where I'm headed, this is what I desire. I stand in the contradiction of humanity, type of thing. But it is also going to be a time of great learning, of great understanding. But just watch out, because also during this time, you are not going to be able to abide, not be able, but you're not going to want to abide liars and sneaks and cheats. And, when would you want to? But this is a time where it really, it gets under your skin, okay? You have the Eight of Swords, the repeat of the number 8. You can take things astoundingly seriously during this time, so just be mindful of that. It can be like all work and no play. The Emperor, which is Aries energy, so you have negative Emperor here. You have a very positive Emperor. March 21st to April 19th is the time frame. And the Knight of Cups, water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. And of course, the Queen of Coins, Capricorn, represents you. So you are embracing this prosperity, this nourishment, this abundance for others, but also for yourself. It brings you here to the Seven of Coins. The Seven of Coins, as you look at the chaos that is around you, as you look at this resurrection of self out of hurt, out of pain, out of disappointment, you are going to see this truth come forward. All right. The Seven of Coins is saying, be patient. Be patient because, you can't rush perfection. You can't rush the plans that divinity has. And they won't always make sense to us. Why? Because, well, we have a spark of the divine within us, but we do not have the complete divine knowledge. But if we know that we're doing our best, if we walk a path that makes us feel like, wow, there is something to this life I have, this way that I'm living, this beauty that gets to flow through my veins, then that is purpose. Be patient. Be patient, because what divinity has planned for you is better than what you could ever have had planned for yourself. It brings you to the Eight of Pentacles, to this sense of, this is what I want. This is what I need. This is what I've been working towards. And it's after you've dealt with the influx of everybody's ideas and ideals and telling you what to be and how to be. The Eight of Pentacles is seeing your hard work pay off, is seeing what you have put your blood, sweat, and tears into. Have a purpose. Have a power forward. And it brings you into stepping into your glory as you move forward with all your knowledge. It's like, this is me. This is what I want. This is what I need. This is the prosperity, the bounty, the abundance for which I was born for. And it leads us then to the Chariot. With your heart is powerful during this time, and it moves you forward in a way that you can't believe. It moves you forward towards this purpose, towards this abundance, towards this sense of more that we forget in our world. It moves you forward in love, and it moves you forward in the ferocity of love, the power, the fight, the brilliance of falling in love with your life and being true to yourself, of being a warrior, but also being a compassionate, kind, respectful person. It moves you then into the Hermit, which as you turn inward, as you embrace your kingliness, right? And here, with this love, it's embracing your queenliness. It's embracing the fire that is within you, the knowledge that becomes you, that energizes your body and your soul. The Hermit turns you inward and says, if I am a king, if I am transforming, if I am embracing, why and how, where and when, and what for? The Hermit has us looking at things quite differently. The Hermit has us opening up our eyes and saying, what's important to me? What is it that I desire? What is it that I want? What is it that I need? And it's letting that light illuminate our way forward. It brings us to the Seven of Wands. It brings us to knowing when to fight and when not to. The Seven of Wands is saying, if you fight against every hurt that you have ever had, you will never stop fighting. If we take everything as an offense, it ruins our whole entire lives, because that's all that we see. The Seven of Wands is looking at things and saying, I see what's happening, I see what I desire, I see what I need, and I know what I will fight for, because I know what's intrinsically important to me. And I will save that fight for when it needs to happen. Because if you fight every single battle that comes your way, every single thing, and it just drains our energy. It just drains who we are, because we're always fighting. Here, it's saying, okay, I can let some things go, don't matter. But what I stand for, what I fight for, is intrinsically important to my soul and myself. It brings us then to the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords is feeling caged. You have this beauty and this blessing coming in, and then you have, with the Six of Cups, you have this sense of nostalgia, this sense of, am I moving forward the right way? And look at how I messed up in the past, and look at what they spoke over me, and how they defined me when I was little. Is this me? And with the Eight of Swords, this can become our cage. And as much as we have the sun shining on us, as much as we have brilliance within our hearts and within our souls, it is devastating. And it'll never shine. Because we can't release the hurts that have happened, the disappointments that have come. We don't need to be caged in anymore. It's time to break the cage. It's time to claim our brilliance, our truth, and our power. And that's what the Emperor is saying here. It's like, you can't. Well, you can. I mean, you do you, right? Everybody has the right to live their own lives the way that they want to. But the Emperor is strongly suggesting to us that we seize our throne. We take our power. We know our fire. Because we get to rule our lives. It's kind of the adage that, yes, I know all my flaws, and I might not be able to rule. But nobody is allowed to rule over me. I embrace my life, my dedication, my determination, and my passion forward. The Emperor is the warrior. The Emperor, because of Aries. Aries is the warrior god in Roman mythology and Greek mythology. Or it's Mars in Roman, right? He is the god of war. He is the god of determination, of fighting, of focus. And that's what we're embracing here. Not to have a fight with everybody, but it's kind of that adage. It's better to be a warrior in a garden than it is to be a gardener in a war. It's better to know your truth and to stand in your truth and to know how to fight and to know how to defend yourself and to embrace your prosperity than not to at all. Than to be overwhelmed when you come into a spot or a point in life where you have to defend yourself and stand in your truth. It brings us then to the Knight of Cups, defending what we love as we look at the pain that has been a part of us, that has been overwhelming, that has been, doubting and fearing. Now we become the warriors of our hearts, our souls, and ourselves. And we let that love move us forward. You're changing the game here, Capricorn, in a very profound and singularly you way. This is a time where we can look at things and we can see the collective we. We can see the divinity in each and every one of us. But we're focused on the power within ourselves. The understanding the monster that lives within. Kind of that beast of humanity that is not humane at all. And the understanding that instead of thinking, I could never do that, is I have power over that path forward. Over that hurt and that pain and that anger and that destruction. And that makes us mighty. It's listening to our bodies. It's embracing ourselves. It's saying, this is the path that calls to my soul, that guides me forward, that turns me inward. Let's look at what your spirit animals have to say. Capricorn, March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Capricorn. March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Capricorn. March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Capricorn. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. These two, okay. So we have here the whale spirit. It says, trust in the great mysteries. The whale spirit animal is the record keeper of the earth. This is trusting in the mysteries of life. This is embracing the power of your soul and of yourself, and trusting that we'll never know everything. Divinity keeps things from us for a reason, holds us back, has us, see things in one light and then has it turned out differently. It's for a reason. There is power within us, and this power you are embracing. But trust in the mysteries. Trust in the not knowing. It brings us then to the chameleon spirit. Act as if. Fake it till you make it, right? Act as if. Embrace that power. Embrace that truth. Act as if. And let that embolden you. Your subconscious spirit animal message is the koala spirit. Spirit has a plan, always and forever. We're the ones that doubt it. We're the ones that mess it up. Trust the plan. Connect with spirit. Connect with your divine understanding. It brings you to your subconscious person message, which is the Hierophant, which is Taurus energy. It's determination, it's insights, it's stubbornness, it's sensuality. It's saying, this is what I want. This is my grounding. This is my truth. This is who I am. Which brings us, it's the might of authenticity right here with the high priest, with the Hierophant. It brings us to our subconscious spirit chakra message, which is divine wisdom, which is the soul star chakra located 6 inches above the crown. This is the time for wisdom to reign on us. This is the time where we start seeing things differently. We start being guided towards ideas and ideals and inspirations that we never would have thought of before, which brings us to our subconscious tarot message, which is the Two of Swords. We always thought it was A or it was B. That's the way you can move forward. Those are the choices that you have. You're going to start to realize that there's so much more coming than you could possibly have known. There are so many more roads opening up than you had ever seen before. And they get to be part of your truth. It's not just one way or another. It's not these are your two options. It's seeing that the world can be extraordinary. The path forward does not have to be ordinary. It brings us then to go deeper into that subconscious message, into the King of Wands. Once again, the King of Wands, fire and passion and truth and determination, and looking at what you rule and what you want, and opening up your eyes, opening up your desire, and saying, this is me. This is what I stand for. This is what I fight for. This is what I want within my life. This is what lights my soul on fire and moves me forward. It doesn't have to be your job. It doesn't. Your job can pay the bills. But there needs to be that fire that we go to within our lives, whether it's our family, whether it's our hobbies, whatever it is. That fire that moves us forward, that passionately guides us, becomes the extraordinary. And that's what you're going to be judging this time off of. The extraordinary, the fire, the passion, the truth. All right, Capricorn. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we become very aware of what we stand for within our lives. And we become powerful advocates of ourselves and what we desire. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Capricorn.